You thought that homeownership for our youngest generation, Gen Z, is finally within reach? This report says otherwise. Gen Z credit use up 30% as Canada's consumer debt hits 2.5 trillion. Canada's consumer debt climbed to a record 2.5 trillion in the first quarter of 2025, with Gen Z, newcomers, and subprime borrowers driving the surge. According to TransUnion, Canada's total consumer debt hit 2.5 trillion in Q1, with growth fueled by a 30.6% year-over-year increase in outstanding credit balances among Gen Z consumers. Meanwhile, newcomers to Canada accounted for 2.6 billion in new credit balances, at a 6.3% yearly increase. Mortgage readiness slipping as unsecured debt climbs. Many Gen Z clients are already stressed before they even start the mortgage process. Between student loans, credit card balances, rising living expenses, it's not uncommon for them to come with high utilization and very limited savings. Newcomers are carrying high interest payday loans debt, and Gen Z sees debt as a way of life. So they don't typically understand the cost. According to TransUnion report, line of credit balances grew 2.8% through Q1, with credit card balances rising 3.2% due to both growth in new cards and higher consumer balances overall. Ontario and Alberta lead the country in rising delinquencies. Alberta recorded the highest non-mortgage delinquency rate in the country at 2.35%, up 16 basis points from a year earlier. Ontario saw the sharpest increase in serious delinquencies, rising 17 basis points to 1.98. Here you can see ranking consumer non-mortgage delinquency rate, so 90 plus date past due on all products by province. Alberta is at number 1, where in Q1 of 2024 it was sitting at 2.19, and Q1 of 2025 that has risen to 2.35, a 16 basis points increase. Following that, at number 5 is Ontario, which was in Q1 2024 at 1.82, and Q1 of 2025 it is now at 1.98. This is an increase of 17 basis points. Alberta has been a hot topic in the recent couple of years, so this shows that Alberta is in real big trouble. Though Ontario is not far behind, but there has been a lot of inter-province migration from Ontario to Alberta, so that makes me wonder the housing cost is growing in Alberta, and people often go to their unsecured debts so that they can keep their housing expenses up to date. Previously, we talked about that Gen Z sees debt as a way of life. That is why a proactive approach matters for brokers and borrowers. So how can you get ahead of these expenses and plan to get into home ownership? Now, there are certain ways of doing that. Number 1 is list your debts from smallest to highest. Pay off your smallest debt first and then go to the next and next. This is a way of doing it. You can pause certain expenses